Remember how I told you guys that I don't trust the government and I don't trust elections and I don't take sides and I'm not political? Well, I'm about to give you a reason with proof and evidence why. But here's the thing though. There's a lot more going on that people like Tim Pool aren't talking about. Now, I don't want to attack him or anything, but the problem is he's telling people to go out and vote like it's going to make a difference. And then you'll have somebody like Luke who goes on his show pretty much every day. And he's been telling him, Tim, for years that we shouldn't trust the government, we shouldn't trust big tech. And these elections are not legitimate, right? And it's funny because on my last channel that I had, the reason why I got a strike on that channel was because I said that the election was not legitimate. And you know which election I'm talking about. So, and I went into detail about it. But I'm not going to go into detail again because I don't want to get struck again. But long story short, I'm going to read you guys this article that Tim Pool read. Like, he went live on his main channel earlier. He discussed this article that came out from The Intercept. And they were talking about how there are leaks now with proof and evidence that our government has basically been lying and manipulating with big tech to the people about trying to influence elections. So, I mean, and what gets me is no matter how many times does it take for somebody to lie to you before you say, these people are liars and I don't trust them? How many things do you have to see? How many things do they have to do to you? Like, I hate this belief that you always need to have proof and evidence before you can say this is BS. I hate that. And unfortunately, Tim Pool is one of those people that unless there's proof or evidence, he doesn't believe it. So here's the thing. You're not always going to have proof or evidence for everything. And by the time you get the proof and evidence for what you don't know is true or not, it's too late. Because you couldn't see the common, like, you know how they say the writing on the wall? You couldn't see the common sense thing. It's in your face. These people lie and deceive and trick. And Tim knows this. But you still are telling people to go out and vote? Like, that's going to matter? Luke said it best. He's like, it's a two-headed dragon, right? The left and the right. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The establishment is what the issue is. The government and all these elections and all this stuff is too corrupt. You got to get rid of all these freaking people if you want to have any semblance of any legitimate government. If you really believe in your little government, if you really need somebody to tell you what to do and you want it to be legitimate without it being corrupt, you got to get rid of the people that are there right now. If you're going to keep the same people there, rotating over and over, and then they keep giving you who they feel like you need to vote for without you having a choice, because they always present these candidates to you, right? You don't know where these motherfuckers come from, but you're like, oh, I gotta vote for one of them, right? No, you don't. You don't have to vote. It's the right to vote, not the you have to vote. It's not mandatory for you to vote, especially if you don't know shit about the candidates that are being put in front of your damn face. Stop voting for people just because you feel like you have to, because you have a right. Don't support these governments. Don't support these elections. I mean, there are elections coming up next week, right? And I'm going to talk about that in the next couple of videos. But if you keep supporting this corrupt establishment, what's already there, and you keep propping them up, they're going to keep fucking you over. They're going to keep lying to you. They're going to keep deceiving you. They're going to keep tricking you. But anyways, let me get into the article. If you look on your screen, it says, The Intercept Proof Cops. Leaked documents outline DHS's plans to police disinformation. Okay, it says, the Department of Homeland Security is quietly broadening its efforts to curb speech it considers dangerous. An investigation by The Intercept has found years of internal DHS memos, emails, and documents obtained via leaks and an ongoing lawsuit, as well as public documents, illustrate an expansive effort by the agency to influence tech platforms. So there you have it. There you have it. But we'll keep going. The work, much of which remains unknown to the American public, came into clearer view earlier this year when DHS announced a new disinformation governance board, a panel designed to police misinformation, false information spread unintentionally, disinformation, false information spread intentionally, and malinformation, factual information shared typically out of context with harmful intent. that allegedly threatens U.S. interests. And what that means is the government is saying, well, if you speak out against us, we're going to silence you and censor you. And we're going to use big tech to do it. Now think about what that means. Think about what that means. Your government is saying, the government that's supposed to be free and for the people, free speech, this, that, and the other, all the bullshit they fed you throughout your life, right? They're saying, if you dare go against us, we're going to silence you. And that's just the minimum of what they're willing to do. That's the minimum. So can you imagine if they really don't like you? Someone like Alex Jones, you know what I'm saying? What they'll do to you? They'll try to destroy your entire freaking existence. And they'll make your life a living hell. That's the government that we have. And that's what they do. So go ahead and keep voting for these people and see where that gets you. Anyways, let me keep reading. While the board was widely ridiculed, immediately scaled back, and then shut down within a few months, other initiatives are underway as DHS pivots to monitoring social media, and now its original mandate, the war on terror, has been wound down, which was another farce, but that's a whole nother story. Behind closed doors and through pressure on private platforms, the U.S. government has used this power to try to shape online discourse. According to meeting minutes and other records appended to a lawsuit filed by Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt, a Republican who is also running for Senate, discussions have ranged from the scale and scope of government intervention in online discourse to the mechanics of streamlining takedown requests for false or intentionally misleading information. Oh, you mean like the stuff that they always tell us and do? So they should take themselves down because they're always lying to us and they're always misleading us. So why don't they just silence themselves? But let's keep going. Platforms have got to get comfortable with government. It's really interesting how hesitant they remain. Microsoft executive Matt Matterson, a former DHS official, texted Jen Esterly, a DHS director, in February. Now, I need to explain something to you guys before I continue. If they're putting this stuff out and they're allowing this to be seen and heard, that means they have worse things planned. You need to understand that. Look how long it took, how many years it took for this to get out. Even though it's been going on for a long time. Look how long it took for this to get out. So that's why I don't like when Tim says, oh, go vote or whatever. Because, or we shouldn't believe in conspiracy theories or whatever the fuck Tim says, because he says that a lot. I like somebody like Luke who's willing to say the things that I'm willing to say. And what I'm going to say is, if you wait so long to figure out what's going on and then you believe it until you got to wait until you get proof and evidence, right? And now you believe it. Well, guess what? They're already working on the next fucking thing that they're going to fuck you over on while you're still thinking about this shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you people need to wake the fuck up and fight back against this shit, or the shit's going to keep happening to you. Fight back in whatever way you can. My way of fighting back is I don't support any of this shit. I don't vote for anybody. I don't align with any political party. I don't believe anything in the news. I don't believe anything in the government unless it's legitimate, right? If it's something legitimate, then I'll believe it. But for the most part, that's very rare. It's very rare. That's all I'm going to say. But let me keep going. In a March meeting, Laura Demlow, an FBI official, warned that the threat of subversive information on social media could undermine support for the U.S. government. What? So now you have somebody that works for the FBI who is saying, hey, we can't have people talking bad about the government because it's exposing the government and it's going to make our government look bad. Who the fuck cares? That's the whole point. We're supposed to have freedom of speech so that we can tell the government what we don't fucking like about it. That's what the whole point of all this shit is. So if we have a government that's not doing that and is trying to hide the truth or trying to hide what they don't like, when you say something they don't like and goes against them and they try to censor you, then what is the point of that government? Why do we have that government? There's no point of having it. What's the difference between that government and any other dictatorship that's ever existed in the history of mankind? Then the article says, Demlow, according to notes of the discussion attended by senior executives from Twitter and JP Morgan Chase, stressed that we need a media infrastructure that is held accountable. We do not coordinate with other entities when making content moderation decisions, and we independently evaluate content in line with the Twitter rule. A spokesperson for Twitter wrote in a statement to The Intercept. There is also a formalized process for government officials to directly flag content on Facebook or Instagram and request that it be throttled or suppressed through a special Facebook portal that requires a government or law enforcement email to use. At the time of writing, the content request system at Facebook is still live. DHS and Meta, the parent company of Facebook, did not respond to a request for comment. The FBI declined to comment. Now, I'm going to scroll through this. You guys can read this if you want. You can pause it. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm not. I'm just going to scroll through it so you guys can look at it. But the point is very simple. They were trying to censor anything that they felt was going against the government, and they were using all the social media platforms to do it. Ironically, the only reason why this is happening is because Elon Musk took over Twitter. Now, again, I'm going to stress this. I don't trust Elon Musk, and I don't trust any of these billionaires. I don't trust Trump. I don't trust Biden. I don't trust anybody in the government or anywhere else. I trust myself, and that's it. And myself is telling me that you people need to stop supporting this shit. That's the only way it's going to stop. You need to stop voting. You need to stop being in political parties. You need to stop supporting these people. They're not going to do shit but keep kicking the can down the road and pretending that they're fighting for your freedoms and fighting for your rights when they're not. First of all, why do you need a government to give you rights? Number one. Number two, they're not giving you the rights that you supposedly have or that they granted you. And number three, it's even worse than that. It's worse than that because there are demonic entities that control the world that are doing this shit to you. And they're the ones that get to pick who gets into office. You don't never get to pick. You think you have a choice. You have an illusion of choice. That's what the vote is. That's what protesting is. That's what all this shit is. It's to give you something to vent and to feel like you're part of what's happening. But you're not. Okay? And here's the proof and evidence of it. Okay? You've never been. This has always been a setup since the beginning. It's always been who they want to be in power. And you people need to wake the fuck up and see what's going on and fight back. And the best way to fight back is not to support it. That's the best way to fight back. You keep supporting this shit, you're going to keep getting shit on. They're going to keep doing this shit to you. They're not going to stop. Anyways, I've said enough. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Read the article. I'm not going to scroll through it. I'll probably just leave a link in the description or something. But it's easy to find. I just went on Google and I did The Intercept. And then I put the government and then it just popped up. So you guys can find it. But long story short, this is what's going on in your world. This is what's going on in your country. And it's a lot worse than this. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is not even the worst. This is like the beginning of the worst. Okay? You guys need to realize that. Wake up and fight back as best as you can by resisting. And if you like what I had to say, like, comment, subscribe. Share this video wherever you can. Hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.